When it comes to the police, the old saying always holds true. You can run, but you can't hide. Unfortunately, some criminals didn't get that memo. In their vain attempts to get away from the cops, these 5 crooks attempted to hide in the dumbest places possible, only to find themselves immortalized in body cam footage for all the world to see. Let's start with Elyria, Ohio resident Michael McCloskey. Mike had a bad reputation among area police, but that didn't stop him and his friends from maintaining a drug den of rather epic proportions. It all started when police noticed a known drug dealer named Brandon Sherrill running into a house on Kenyon Avenue. As Sherrill had several active warrants out for his arrest, the police entered the home in an attempt to apprehend him. The result was a tragic game of hide and seek that serves as just another reason to say no to drugs. The first to be found was McCloskey, who had attempted to shove his tall and lanky frame into, of all places, a clothes dryer. Despite his best attempts, McCloskey couldn't manage to fit his entire frame into the tiny space, and he was quickly apprehended. As if hiding wasn't enough to indicate McCloskey's guilt, he promptly announced to one of the arresting officers that the reason he was hiding was because he simply had too many warrants. Now, finding a grown man stuffed in a dryer is typically more than enough for any police officer. The fun and games were just beginning over on Kenyon Avenue. Another resident of the reputed drug den, Stephanie Price, was found hiding in the attic.
Hey, come down, it won't hurt you, man. Whoever you is, get down here, whoever you is.
In fact, she'd climbed so far into the top of the home that she needed the help of 2 cops to get down.
Yeah, I got it.
There's somebody up across.
Who else is up there?
No, that we both been up here. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What?
Come on.
Why did they
Come on.
fall?
Come on.
What's going on?
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
The original target of the raid, Brandon Sherrill, was found just a few feet away from McCloskey, attempting to hide under the stairs.
You really think we're that dumb? Get up.
He even attempted to take a smoke break before getting handcuffed.
Don't worry about your cigarette. Let's go.
Go on. Yeah, stand by.
By now, the cops were in no mood for fun games. They began taking apart the rest of the house in short order. They found another drug offender, Jason Smith, hiding under a pile of blankets, but the rest of the residents had the good sense to stay in plain sight. Altogether, 7 suspects were charged with possession of drugs ranging from fentanyl and methamphetamine, as well as a host of paraphernalia. The last arrest was that of Michael Major, the lease tenant of the home. In his case, he was accused of allowing his residency to be used for ongoing drug use. At least he had the good sense to let the cops in when they knocked. Hiding from the police in your own home is one thing, but can you imagine trying to do the same thing on someone else's property? Shockingly enough, it's happened. Take the curious case of Robert Turner Jr. In June of 23, Robert was seen jumping from rooftop to rooftop in the small town of Cudahy, Wisconsin. When local police came to investigate, someone fired shots at them from an unknown hiding place. Unfortunately, a search didn't turn up anything, anyone, or any gun, until the next morning. 2 homeowners called the cops on June 19th, stating that they had come home from work to find materials from their attack all over the floor.
Who's up there with him?
My boyfriend pulled him out of the attic.
Hey, I have a firearm.
All right, well, don't use it.
It's that door right there. Carlos, you stay. I'm not going up there.
36. He's on the porch with another individual. I'm gonna be heading up there.
The couple admits that they first thought an animal had gotten into the house. That was until a voice called out to them from inside the attic saying, "My name is Robert."
So we're thinking it's an animal, and he said, "No, my name's Robert." Oh, there's a dude in my room.
While the homeowner called the cops, her boyfriend did his best to detain the man, arguing with him until the police finally arrived on the scene.
Hey, I put my firearm.
Put your way. Turn around.
I just told him, come in here.
Turn around.
I'm trying to come in.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
The responding officer immediately cuffed Mr. Turner, who was covered in dust and debris from his time spent hiding in the attic. Though he was mostly cooperative, Turner claimed that his leg was broken and certainly didn't say anything about the shooting the previous night.
I told him
Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back.
I didn't try to around the place. I laid on the porch, man.
What's your name?
I'm Robert Turner, man.
Who's the hood now?
Robert Turner, man.
Robert Turner, man? Or Robert
Man,
Turner?
Man, my leg is broke.
All right, well, we're going to get you out downstairs, okay?
Due to the size of the home, Turner was forced to hop down the stairs before he could be further questioned or provided with any medical attention.
Why are we hopping along?
He's just going to have to hop. Just hop, dude. Hop down.
Turner, man.
You want me to get in front of him?
I got it. I can come down.
Well, I think trust is out the window here, bud.
Huh?
He's fine. He's fine.
No,
We got some,
I see it. I see it. I see it.
maybe upstairs. Might be an idea.
We're gonna.
I know. Have a seat on here, right here. Have a seat here. Have a seat right here. Right here.
There you go, boss.
It didn't take too much time for the police to put two and two together and ask Turner if he'd been jumping across rooftops the previous night, an accusation which he denied.
Were you jumping out of a window or jumping across roofs last night?
I had my leg coming across here yesterday.
What's that?
I'm on to see my grandmother.
I know.
On my leg.
What's your first name, Robert?
Yeah.
And your last name is Turner?
Yes, sir.
He also claimed he was in town visiting his grandmother and refused to provide additional details about where he lived or where he was staying. Then they found the drugs.
I see why you're doing that. Hold up here, hold up here.
What you got? What we got?
You got drugs up in here. Is it fentanyl or crack?
What you
No,
got?
I do them personal use.
Is it? I don't care if it's personal. Is it fentanyl or crack?
I don't know. I think they ecstasy.
Ecstasy?
Yeah.
No, they're using that.
After that, Turner's story fell apart immediately. The police determined that he jumped out of a fourth-story building, which is most likely where he hurt his leg. They found the gun used to shoot at the officers the previous day stashed in another neighbor's grill. After matching the shell cases to the weapon, they felt pretty certain that Mr. Turner would be going away for a long time. Sometimes body cam footage gets put into the archive without much explanation, so it's hard to parse out the details behind the who, when, and why. However, the following clip is so insanely bizarre that we just couldn't resist including it in our recap. Watch as this Atlanta PD officer approaches an abandoned chair next to a shopping cart that looks like it belongs to someone down on their luck. The officer pulls a couple of blankets off of the chair and begins talking to what seems to be nobody. However, the blankets soon reveal a disheveled and confused man whom the officer helps to his feet.
I hurt my hip. I ain't ready. I ain't ready. What's up, Sugar? I ain't do that. Sit down.
No. Have a seat.
I'm a hip. I already been checked out.
The man repeatedly claims that he'd been checked out, though there's little indication of what he's referring to.
Alright, so how you been checked out?
They checked me out.
When they check you out?
Yesterday morning or the morning. It's a guy like me.
The police at first struggled to get the man into the handcuffs, but eventually they're successful. The man continues to complain about people calling the cops on him, but the police officer sticks to his guns.
Yeah, they keep calling the police on me. They got me to stand by the port at night.
Finally, it's revealed that he had a warrant out for his arrest for burglary.
Unfortunately, bro, you got a warrant.
Though crime and homelessness are by no means uncommon in cities like Atlanta, what makes this video so strange is this criminal's attempt to hide the night away in a chair next to a busy intersection and gas stations. Truly a remarkable mind at work. Unfortunately, not all situations of criminals hiding from the police end in a simple arrest. On March 4th of 23, police in Frederick, Maryland received a call tip that a man who had recently violated his patrol was hiding in an apartment off of Northeast Street. That man was Joseph Sherrill. The police arrived and announced themselves, at which points they encountered Sherrill's ex-wife, who had barricaded the door despite denying that Mr. Merrill was there.
What's going on?
According to her, the door was barricaded in order to keep her dangerous ex-husband out.
Because my ex-husband, I had an ex parte against him.
Who's that?
Joseph Sherrill.
Is he here?
No, I always keep that in front of the door. Y'all were here the other night.
Were we? Was he here the other night?
No, he was not.
Okay. Why would somebody called and said he's here?
Well, he's not here.
His ex-wife even claims that Merrill's baby mama is likely the source of the anonymous tip and that she has a protective order against the woman.
And I'm sure it is his baby's mother, because I had a protective order and I had custody of the kid. I'm so sick of her. I'm so sick and tired of all of this bull crap. And her having this.
But why would she call and say he's here if he's not here?
Because she is so annoying.
Can we come in and look?
For what? I
To
don't.
see if he's here.
No, because I don't. You know what? You want to know why? Because I let y'all in here the other day, and you told me to let him get his chair. Okay. This was at 1:30.
So why don't we come in and see if he's here?
The police remain insistent, however, and the more she keeps talking, the more she slips up regarding her previous contact.
Well, if he's not here, then we'll be going.
Well, I just don't think that it's right that you're like, whoever's calling you, tell them to come here. He's not here.
Okay, well, somebody called us. We didn't just show up
Okay,
here
well,
out
I'm
of
just
this.
She does, however, recommend the cops go search for him at some nearby hotels where he might be shacked up with a girlfriend.
He's out running around with some chick. The last I knew, he was at the Hampton Inn up on Opossum Turnpike.
What kind of car does he drive?
What's that?
What kind of car does he drive?
He's with a girl with a white silver Honda. I think it's a Civic.
At this point, the police drop a bomb on the lady, saying that the neighbors had just reported seeing her husband enter the home.
Why did your neighbors tell me that he just came in here, though, and he was wearing a red coat?
He's
And
not.
why is his
wearing
red
a
sweatshirt over there on the chair?
That's my red sweatshirt.
Okay.
That's my red
So are we going to come in and take a look or not?
I'm not letting you in. What do you need to come in for? There's no
To
protection.
make sure he's not here.
They also mentioned that they have an official summons they need to hand delivered to him.
So then we should be able to come in and take a look and make sure he's not
Well, I
here.
don't understand.
Because we have a summons form.
You have a what?
A summons. Just a piece of paper we have to
And I
hand him.
gave that to him. That came in my mail the other day.
Okay, well, we have to hand deliver it to him.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Go to the Hampton Inn. I'm so
I don't think he's at the Hampton Inn. I think he's here.
The police also mentioned that if they find out the woman was lying, they'll arrest her. That's when everything unsurprisingly changed.
Well, then you'll have to get somebody. I'm not letting you in my house.
Okay.
Like, this is
So
just
if I
not
find
fair.
out he's here
Okay.
and you're lying to me,
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna arrest you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
He's not here.
Within minutes of entering the home, the police located Joseph hiding in a closet. To make matters worse, he had a knife and refused to drop it.
Let me see your hands. Come on. Drop the knife.
Nope.
Drop the knife.
Nope.
Drop the knife.
You're gonna have to shoot me.
Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
That's not going to jail.
Hey, drop the knife!
After repeated orders from the cops and attempted interventions by his ex-wife, Joseph charged into the living room where he was met by a hail of gunfire.
He's right there. Hey, drop the knife! Hey!
The police immediately began performing life-saving operations, but unfortunately Mr. Merrill could not be saved. It just goes to show how much some ex-cons dread going back to prison. This was a situation in which police were severely threatened, but not necessarily surprised. However, in some cases, the police officers need to react within a fraction of a second in order to protect themselves from harm. Such was the case on November 15th of 22 in the small city of McLeod, Oklahoma. In this case, officers were searching for Timothy Johnson, who was wanted on an out-of-state felony warrant. They arrived at the suspect's location, a travel trailer that the suspect had recently been seen entering. Knowing that Mr. Johnson was likely armed and potentially dangerous, cops entered with their guns drawn, calling out to the man and asking to make himself known.
Sammy! This is the police department! If you're in here, you need to make yourself known!
At first glance, it seemed the trailer was completely empty. The officers even let their guards down, shining their flashlights around the interior in an attempt to find anything that might serve as a clue to the suspect's whereabouts.
Sammy! Hey. Alright, yeah, we're clearing the trailer. Look at that. You see that, right?
What? That was bag?
Is that a bag or is that a vest? That's a vest.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
You clueless? There's nothing in here?
We need to lift this up. No, we need to lift this bed up. Cody, you got cover out there while we do this?
Everything changes the moment the officers decide to lift up the mattress in the trailer's bedroom, only to be greeted by Johnson pointing a weapon directly at them. 2 of the 3 cops evacuate the trailer while the remaining officer exchanges gunfire with the suspect, who's still under the mattress. Upon regaining their composure, the first 2 cops re-enter the trailer and command Johnson to come out with his hands up.
Come out with your hands up!
Come out with your hands up!
Come out with your hands up!
Unfortunately, he decides to answer their request with another round of gunfire. One of the police is even hit in the face by a bit of debris flying around the trailer. Because the suspect was so dug in and made it known he was ready and willing to fight back, the tactical team was called in to further investigate the situation, only to find Johnson deceased. As if Mr. Johnson's unnecessary death wasn't bad enough, the person who owned the trailer was later charged with harboring a fugitive. The woman, Jennifer Gardner, had put the officers in incredible danger by lying to them and claiming there was nobody in there. This being the case, it's lucky things didn't turn out even more tragic.